Hi guys, Yuketsu here. Another latency video. And the first thing I want to say is that I had a couple of responses, good responses, pretty much only good responses for the last two videos I made. And I quickly want to say there is no too long didn't read version of this video. There's no summary. If you are interested in what I have to say, and if you are interested in this topic and Blade and Soul and that kind of thing, then take your time and watch the video. It's going to be worth it, in my opinion. Okay, so what we're going to talk about today, and with me I mean myself and the people in chat, is the MMOs.com article from yesterday called Blade and Soul's Fading Esports Stream. I have read a bit and it looks very interesting, and I want to go through this piece by piece. So let's just start. Yeah, this is MMOs.com Blade and Soul's Fading Esports Stream from Colin NG. Let's go. In 2009, NCSoft premiered their first Blade and Soul trailer at G-Star. 2009, that's a long time ago. A gaming convention in South Korea. The trailer showcased impressive visuals, flashy combat, and a wuxia-inspired setting. In June 2012, Blade and Soul officially launched in Korea and at Gamescom. That same year, NCSoft announced plans to bring Blade and Soul to the West. Western fans got a glimpse of Blade and Soul's competitive scene in South Korea, thanks to Freedom Plays, a community that specializes in foreign MMOs, uploading 2 videos showing off the 2013 Blade and Soul PvP tournament. Despite the long wait time, hype was building up. Eager fans resorted to playing other versions of the game, other regions, longing for the day NCSoft would bring Blade and Soul to Western shores, and with it the prospect of a new MMO esports. Such as MLG and Intel Extreme Masters. Unfortunately, World of Warcraft began to decline as an esport between 2010 and 2011. MLG had problems finishing their 2010 World of Warcraft season due to the release of the Cataclysm expansion, and Intel Extreme Masters dropped the World of Warcraft from their 2011 lineup. BNS Esports strong in Korea. That article is irrelevant. No, completely not. Because we're talking about the esports scene and the game state in general in the Western world. Anyways. In 2015, Blade and Soul was finally announced for the West and given an official release date of January 19th, 2016. The wait for a fresh new MMO esport was over. Can't you move on and play another game? Thought you quit like twice already in 1 week. Well, in between I tried to make people realize why I quit. And this is also like a last resort shout out to Jonathan, to Julian, to any publisher or to anyone who has something to say at Blade and Soul, at NC West, Avengers 6969, for them to realize what they are doing with the community. You know, like, can't you understand that people love the game so much that they want this game to be good so much that they also say, I'm going to quit the game, but then decide to come back and make videos about it? Do you not have that passion as a gamer about any game? Anyways, let's go on, because this article looks very interesting. A falling star. During its alpha and beta test in late 2015, Blade & Soul exploded onto Twitch and attracted a huge amount of attention. Big name streamers like Sodapoppin and World of Warcraft Arena veterans such as Rekful, Vajira, and Vanguards, also Talbadar, all had positive comments about the game. Jason Lee, the Blade & Soul 2014 World Champion, participated in several events and streams with NC West to promote the game and created YouTube content to help players. Switch streamer Sodapoppin shown his viewers the various classes in Blade & Soul. The good news didn't stop there. In November 2015, NC Soft's head of the esports development, Yongjun Choi, announced that the West would be able to take part in the Blade & Soul 2016 World Championship, even hinting that discussions were underway to bring Blade & Soul to existing competitive events such as EVO, the most prestigious fighting game tournament in the world. In February, short after release, ESL announced, or the Electronic Sports League for people who don't know, announced that Blade & Soul would become a permanent game on their esports platform. Within a few days, the first ESL Blade & Soul Community Cup had over 1,000 sign-ups across both NA and EU. More events sprung up following the success of the first ESL Cup. Imperial, Esports Wall, and Random CS hosted several online tournaments in the following months. Things were looking good for Blade & Soul Esports. Sadly, it didn't last long. A far cry from ESL's 1,000 signups in their first Community Cup. They played a lot. I played in one ESL tournament as well, because I have a job. So that happened. On May 9th, Imperial announced they would be discontinuing their weekly Blade & Soul tournaments, citing a lack of official support for the competitive community. An official statement was released the following day describing the problems in more detail. Interest rapidly declining among competitors, and tournament signups for other events were greatly reduced. Though unfortunate, this news came as no surprise to tournament participants and veterans of the game. Despite how bright the future once looked, Blade & Soul's Western release was hindered by many issues that would prevent it from maintaining the esports status it held in Korea. And that is what Avenger, or that is what T-Pone said before, being as esports strong in Korea, that article is irrelevant. That article says that Korea's esports scene is strong, and is saying that it's kind of failing or fading, as it says here, in the West, and that's sad. The barrier to entry. Being an MMO, Blade & Soul requires the player to invest some time into the game before being able to compete in the arena. Fortunately, stats are normalized in arena, making gear a non-factor and allowing non-max level players to start PvPing early on. Unfortunately, a low-level player will still be at massive disadvantage against a high-level opponent. Low-level characters do not gain all their skills upon entering the arena, nor do they gain additional skill points to allocate into their skills to make up for the level difference. Now, we all know that on launch, we all know that in the 45 cap, it was fairly easy, right? You leveled to 45, you can play arena. Sure, it was unbalanced, blah blah blah, but like you just being able to play the game, leveling to 45, which, you know, happened to be very fast, being a very fast process, was cool. Like, you could just level the character 45 in a day or two if you were dedicated, and that's it. You could just jump in arena, no Hongmun levels, no Hongmun skills, pretty easy. I think it was that time for alts, that was the best time, I think. Reaching the level 50 cap doesn't take too long. A seasoned player can do this in less than 24 hours, and a casual player could expect to reach this within a week or two of moderate play. Sadly, the grind doesn't end there. Beating a high level opponent can prove very difficult even with the stat normalization. Hongmun skills and levels are additional advantages a player can obtain for their characters. Hongmun levels grant extra skill points to use, but require far more experience than regular levels. Arena balance is based on the current cap of level 50 plus Hongmun 15, making it the goal for dedicated PvP players. I want to quickly make a stop here. Hi guys, servers down? Yes, as far as I know. So what I want to quickly say there, that in the beginning this whole level and Hongmun skills thing didn't bother me much, but there is something that I'm going to go in a bit. However, reaching Hongmun 15 will take the average player a year or more of continuous play, making it an extremely time-consuming hurdle to overcome. Hongmun skills are upgraded versions of existing abilities that add extra control, defensive options, or in some cases raw damage. Originally designed in the lore as legendary skills, these abilities usually cost large amounts of gold or require hefty time investments to obtain. Hongmun skills can drastically affect arena matchups, making it a mandatory addition for PvP players. Now, I want to quickly talk about this, the whole Hongmun skill thing. I know that Jonathan said multiple times that they allow PvP players to obtain, for example for assassins, the Hongmun right click, the hard stab, to obtain that over PvP. Okay, so shoutouts to Jonathan and the team to allowing us to program it into the game that for the first time PvP players are able to get that Hongmun right click over PvP, over Zenbeans. Now, the problem with this is while okay, so the main income for PvP players used to be the soul stones, right? You get Zen beans, you go in gold, plat, or diamond, what I reached, and then sell those soul stones for a decent amount of gold, and you just made some gold as a PvP player, right? Now, the second this whole 50 content came out, and the Hongmun right click, a hard stab, that kind of thing, the whole the whole power the PvP players had to make a really decent amount of money with the soul stones they threw into the market got a lot less, because it was a lot better and a lot easier and a lot faster for PvE players to make money by farming Yeti and getting the Hongmun skills, just other Hongmun skills too, and you know, selling those. I know a great deal of friends who said you just farm 4-man and you sell those Hongmun skills and make a lot of money. Right? So the whole I don't know how to say that. The whole monopoly that PvP players had on making so much money with the soulstones was gone, right? That is okay, right? If you play PvE, then it kind of should be normal for you to obtain more money than PvP players, right? That's cool. That's cool. But the problem was with the PvP, with the Hongman skill being obtainable over PvP. What they did is they said, yo, you have to invest, if you're premium, 144,000 Zen beans. To get that Hongmoon skill. That was at that time, at my level that I played, because apparently it depends a bit on what level you are, how many Zen beans you get per win. That meant 900 arena wins being in gold. If you just won consecutively 900 arena games, you know, winning all of them, then you have your Hongmoon skill. That is a crazy time sink, and I want to quickly calculate that. So let's just say, worst case scenario, those 900 arena games do take 9 minutes. They take all the, you know, let's just assume, because, you know, worst case. So you have 900 arena wins, and you have 9 minutes for that. Now, you go through 60 with that, and you are at 135 hours of queuing arena and winning that game to get those 900 arena wins. 135 hours of pure grinding arena and winning games in gold to get that Hongmoon skill. You were able to buy the skill too, because it was in the auction house, people got it, plus queue times. We're assuming that you need 9 minutes. Yeah, it was just punishing the arena player, because first of all, Jonathan, Julian, and C West. First of all, the PvP player lost their entire income for 144,000 Zen beans just to get that skill. That's what I'm still farming, by the way, or was farming, because I'm not playing the game as active anymore. For 144,000 Zen beans, you were not able to make money with Zen beans buying soulstones because you needed that Hongmoon skill. Hongmoon right click, the hard step, is so good for sins that there is a point where you cannot play without that. And that is so massive. I really appreciate that you guys put the time in to implement that, but it makes no sense. It makes no sense for any PvP player in the world, sadly. I did go the Zenbeans way because I was like, cool, I can just do it with PvP. So that whole PvP way of obtaining that skill was completely redundant because it just punched you in the face for it. Yeah, that's just my take because it's really important for me. So they are comparing the lightning draw from BM, Standard, and Hongmoon, which changed everything. That was crazy. Okay, let's go on with this. The Hongmoon variant of a Blade Master's lightning draw skill deals almost twice the amount of damage, but at the cost of a longer cooldown. Esports thrive off large player bases and communities, but for the game to grow, it must be accessible and enticing for a new player. Games like Dota 2 and CSGO require no grinding at all. Once you download or buy the game, you're at an equal footing with other players. There are many other games like that, by the way. Even Guild Wars 2 PvP. You level to level 2 or something, jump in arena, you're max level, and everyone had the same gear. Beside that one necklace where you can decide what kind of stats you want. But yeah, I think Guild Wars 2 did an amazing job. Their only advantage is in skill and experience, not stats or characters. Blade and Soul could benefit greatly by lowering its entry barrier, not only for new players but for returning players and existing players that want to learn about other classes. That's a very well written article so far. Bots and cheaters. As with almost every MMO, bots are ever present in Blade and Soul. They flooded the arena for the purpose of farming soulstones, a much needed upgrade for material for PvE. At times it was common to face bots more than actual players during an evening of play, making arena a tedious experience. One player on Reddit even reported not seeing a single real player within an hour of arena at the highest rating. Fortunately, the army of bots were removed and players could once again face real opponents. Yeah, the bots thing were a problem, and I think NCSoft was fighting it hard, NC West, and they did a good job of, getting rid of them. It took a long time, or, a relatively long time, but they kinda got rid of it. Oh, sorry. Macro usage is a much loathed practice in Blade and Soul's arena. Certain classes in Blade and Soul demand dexterity and timing to pull off damaging combos, such as the Kung Fu Master's infamous 3RF combo. The goal of every aspiring Kung Fu Master is to master this combo and be able to pull it off consistently in high pressure situations. Unfortunately, some players have broken the spirit of learning process, opting to use a macro software to automate the timing intensive combo to beat their opponents. NC West has explicitly, NC West says explicitly, wow, said that macro software is a bannable offense, but detecting it can lead to false positives due to the built-in macro software on various gaming keyboards and mice. Bots were abundant in not just arena, but in open world as well. Yeah, we see some destroyers here. Hackers are far more malicious. They can blink in and out of existence while dealing damage and teleporting across the arena, making it almost impossible to beat them. Using characters as low level 20, they shamelessly abuse the arena system, overtaking legitimate players in the rankings and cheating them out of their end season rewards. Blatant hackers were eventually removed, but if such powerful cheats were available, there is no telling what the next wave of hackers could be capable of if left unchecked. A recent producer letter reassured players that NC West would continue to remove these disruptive players and improve their cheat detection. Sadly, they ran rampant for far too long and have pushed many players to leave the game already. That article is great so far. I really like it. Rapid content release and balance shifts. Because of NCSoft's commitment to bring Western players into the 2016 World Championship patch, patch releases are frequent to catch up to the Korean versions. Months worth of content are squeezed into a few weeks for the Western version, and with it the release of a new skill class that skills that can drastically affect PvP balance. Early during Blade and Soul's release, the Summoner class was often complained about in PvP. Summoners had the majority of their skills from an early level, and many players could not deal with the onslaught of control and damage it had. They dominated in the arena, the arena ladder, and left many players with a sour impression of the game's balancing. Over their next few content patches, every class gained Hongmoon levels and skills that greatly affected the summoner matchup. The arena ladder is now much more varied, with every class present in the top 10 on EU as of writing. So there he basically just shows that Hongmoon skills do change the whole meta and everything, and I think it was a good point that he mentioned it. Summoners no longer dominate the arena ladders with the addition of Hongmoon's levels and skills. The Assassin versus Kung Fu Master matchup is currently one of the most one-sided fights in the Western version. That's not true. The Assassin class has a 50% chance to evade attacks while in stealth, and many players have adopted to a playstyle that involves staying hidden for as long as possible, making it extremely frustrating for players to deal with. Kung Fu Masters don't have many tools to deal with hidden opponents, but in a future content update they will receive a new Hongmun skill that allows them to pull the Assassin from stealth and force a fight. He already has many tools to do that. It will give Kung Fu Masters a better chance of beating Assassin opponents, but until the content update is released they will have to deal with this difficult matchup. That one pull in will not drastically change the matchup. It's still going to be in the favor of the Sin, but it's not... I mean, one of the most one-sided... Okay, I guess I agree on that. Pardon me. But that one Hongmun skill, you know, changes, but you can still iframe it and everything. It's not that big of a deal. It's cool, but yeah. And Csoft have opted to let Western players experience most of Blade & Soul's content since its initial release, but the rapid release schedule puts the game's balance in a state of flux and players in a constant race to catch up to their peers. A race that many have already given up on. Although the balance shifts will slow down once the West has caught up to the Korean updates, it might be too late if the competitive player base have moved on to greener pastures. That I really like. This writing. Merging PvP and PvE content. Progression in Blade & Soul relies on PvP and PvE players cooperating. Certain PvE upgrade materials are gained through PvP related activities, and some Hongmun skill books that PvP players need are obtainable from dungeons. This seems like an interesting idea on the surface because it encourages players to combine both PvP and PvE. Unfortunately, this doesn't work as originally intended because of the previous point, rapid content releases. With more time between patches, the supply of these items will increase and eventually become affordable for everyone. Currently, they're far too expensive for the average player to afford if they do not mix PvP and PvE. Due to the stat normalization in Arena, it's unlikely a PvP exclusive player has taken the time to upgrade the gear, making it harder for them to find dungeon groups due to their outdated equipment. Well said. Items require Hongmun skills, cost hundreds of gold. Hongmun levels are a mandatory PvP time sink that is made easier with PvE content. Although Arena wins grand experience, it's dwarfed by the speed and ease of daily quests. A single daily quest awards more experience than multiple Arena wins. They are also guaranteed experience as opposed to a potential loss, which gives negligible amounts. A PvP player looking to maximize their experience gain will certainly have to complete daily quests and dungeons alongside Arena. That's also a big deal, right? The Hongmun skill thing, the experience gain thing, that is a big deal. So I love this post so far. With recent patches, players now have the option to obtain Hongmun skills via the Arena currency Zenbeans. Although a step in the right direction, this change might have come too late since many players have already invested the time to obtain their Hongmun skills, or worse, quit because of the PvE requirement. And I already talked about this. The Zenbean cost is also extremely high, making it more efficient in the long run to invest time into PvE rather than farming the Arena currency. Well done. On point. Hongmun levels require insane amounts of experience compared to the subscription-based Korean version, courtesy of Praetor 19. It's understandable that NCSoft wants to keep the game's original design intact. After all, encouraging players to mix both PvE and PvE is a great idea and could get players to try out content they normally wouldn't. Unfortunately, when it's coupled with rapid content updates, there is not much time for a player to indulge in both PvE and PvP while staying up to date with their gear, skills, and knowledge of other classes in Arena. Yeah, well said, good point. Very well. No spectator support. One of the most important components for growing an esport is making sure your audience can actually view the game. Sadly, Blade and Soul doesn't have a proper spectator support, making it awkward and time-consuming for tournament organizers to broadcast matches to viewers. Organizers must initiate a 3v3 sparring match with the help of several volunteers to fill the extra spots. Once in the match, players quickly defeat each other until the two participants are the only ones remaining. Additional wait time is added to compensate for any skill cooldowns, and then the match can finally begin. You quickly screenshot of how you have to play or have to watch it in the BNS stream, and how you have to, or how the 2015 World Championship used to be. The official spectator client used at Korean events is far more advanced and friendly to viewers. This entire setup process requires multiple volunteers, takes several minutes to set up, and a 3v3 match ends after a single bout. A standard arena match in Blade and Soul is a best of 3 format, so this process must be repeated up to 3 times to complete a single match that would otherwise take around 5 minutes or less. Yeah, great point. Luckily, NC West's recent producer letter addressed this issue, acknowledging that a functional spectator client is crucial to the success of community-run tournaments. With any luck, tournament organizers will have access to a spectator client similar to the one used at official Korea events that show a wealth of helpful information. That is just way too late. You screwed up already, NCUS. And your main focus was not that. Technical issues. Blade and Soul's PvP demands a split second of decision making and well-timed skills to pull off high damage combos. A low ping connection is essential to competitive play. You're missing an is. Sadly, latency issues have plagued the game since its release, frustrating many players to the point of quitting. That's also basically my main reason why I quit. Latency spikes can ruin game-winning combos, disconnects can give unfair losses, and desync issues can make players question if their opponent is hacking. South Korea is a relatively small country with world-leading internet connectivity, as we know. Gamers there are equipped with ultra-low latency connections, rendering them mostly immune to lag problems. It's unfortunate, but the game has been designed with these stable, low-latency connections in mind, meaning Western players might experience network-related anomalies while playing. However, this doesn't excuse the myriad of connectivity issues encountered by Western players. Some might experience the lag in arena, but feel no delay in open world, or vice versa. Some are forced to use VPN services to bypass routing issues in hopes of getting a stable connection to the game service, while others can play with absolutely no latency problems at all. Yep. Nothing to add to that. Connection issues can happen at the most frustrating times. That's a good screenshot. Competitive play cannot happen under unstable conditions. Match outcomes should be decided by the players, not an abrupt connection issue that is out of their hands. Players in the US and the EU are more spread out than those in South Korea, making solid connection an absolute must to retain player interest and competitive drive. Changing the game to compensate for higher latency is unreasonable, but fixing unstable servers and routing issues should be a priority. I cannot stress this enough. But fixing unstable servers and routing issues should be a priority. NC West. Anyways, next point. I love this article. Growing the community. Yeah, he did. Games require a steady inward flow of players to become a successful esport. Blade and Soul's release was so successful that multiple servers were added after launch to accommodate the growing player base, but the majority of players focused on PvE, not competitive PvP. Thanks to Blade and Soul's design encouraging PvE players to try PvP isn't very hard, but keeping them interested is difficult. Yeah, what Kondo said here on Reddit got just yeah. Anyways, Blade and Soul PvP can be overwhelming at first. Combat has a unique flow to it that takes time to adjust to, and skill build possibilities can be daunting to newcomers. Thankfully, many experienced players have created guides to help ease players into their classes. Unfortunately, they're often difficult to find or seldom kept up to date. For example, searching Kung Fu Master Blade and Soul PvP guide, and Google returns plenty of results showing combos and skill builds, but not much information on how to apply them to matches. Shout out to myself. Yeah, Jay, me in a nutshell, what you're saying. The amount of skills and build possibilities can be overwhelming for someone new to PvP. I completely understand. It is not a game easy to learn. You do have to invest time. The Blade and Soul community could benefit from a website or forum that focuses on PvP, a place to meet and spar new players, discuss strategy and learn from veterans. It could serve as a hub for PvP enthusiasts to visit a source of news, updates and similar PvP related content such as streamer directory. Right now there is nothing similar and newcomers have nowhere to go besides the official forums or Reddit to look for help with their class. Maintaining interest. For the dedicated players that manage to look past the issues, work hard to climb the arena ladder, there isn't much motivation to continue playing. Queue times for high-rated players can be lengthy, forcing players to create alt characters of the same class, lose on purpose to lower their ranking and find more matches, or play a friend's character. Competition on the ladder can also feel stale compared to community-run tournaments where skilled players congregate. Dojo is the exact description of that. Yeah, I think he did miss a couple of the forums. There are many people that made guides, including myself, and I think Dojo. It is hard to find though, you know, it's not WoW where you can type in that kind of thing. There's multiple entire websites of that. But yeah. Anyways, sadly, with Imperial dropping Blade and Soul and other tournaments receiving fewer signups each week, there aren't many events left to attend. Rewards for placing well in each PvP season are also extremely lackluster. The minimum rank to receive a reward is 300th in class rankings. While top ranks are given hundreds of gold worth of items and exclusive costumes, lower ranks receive small amounts of experience and gold that could have been obtained in a single day of play. There are also weekly rewards, but these are limited to experience charms that again could be obtained in just a single day, or items worth a little amount of gold. Yeah. The lackluster rewards given to top ranking players at weekly and seasonal intervals. Awarding players for their achievements is a great idea, but handing out rewards to such a small portion of players can feel demotivating to those starting out and trying to improve. Expanding the reward system to include lower rank players can be a boost to their confidence and motivation, and more exclusive rewards such as titles and different costumes could give competitive players the bragging rights they deserve. That is a very good point, and I haven't thought about this. Man, I really like this article. Why aren't there PvP season titles for Relentless Gladiator Enol, like in WoW, for example. You know, just all the PvP titles. That's a very good point he makes. PvP titles, wow. That is so cool. Where are the PvP seasons? Here. Prideful Gladiator, Grievous Gladiator, Tyrannical, Malevolent, Cataclysmic, Ruthless, Vicious, Wrathful, Relentless, Furious. You know, all those. There's so many possibilities to make titles, which I don't think is a hard thing to do. That would. And like mounts. Okay, there are no mounts, but I guess costumes. I don't know. That is just another thing. That's a very good point he makes. Just simply titles, dude. Hey, Kenny. Yeah, next point. Pets instead of mounts. That's a good point. Untapped potential. And like very, like pets that are, you know, that he had to obtain in that PvP season. Anyways. Untapped potential. As an MMO, Blade & Soul is far from dead, but as an esport, it's most definitely fading away. The fast, skill-placed combat is a wonderful fresh experience from the usual tab-target MMOs that have dominated the market for a long time. It fits well in a competitive environment, and the variety of classes keeps it interesting to both play and watch. Where it ultimately fails is not the gameplay itself, but rather how the publisher, developer, and in some part the community fail to properly support the game. Great. Like, he hits the nail on the head. There's nothing else to say. Blade & Soul's combat is unique in the MMO genre. Yep. Okay, that's the end as well. Okay. Had Blade & Soul been released earlier, there would be no rush to catch up to the Korean version, giving the game and community more time to develop in the Western without new content updates, shifting balance every few weeks. Unfortunately, the rush is already underway, and both NC West and NC Soft need to support this rapid release of content by helping ease players into the game rather than forcing them to play for ludicrous amounts of time just to stay competitive. Fortunately, not all hope is lost. NC West have acknowledged they need to better support the PvP community, and Imperial founder Everest recently announced they will most likely be organizing Blade & Soul tournaments once again. The Blade & Soul 2016 Tag Championship is also being broadcast for the West on Twitch TV. Complete with English casters, a sign that NCSoft knows there is a passionate competitive community for their game in the West. Imperial's return to Blade & Soul could revive a still dying community. With enough support, Blade & Soul could become a popular Western esport in the future. Action is already being taken to revive a competitive scene, and hopefully it isn't too late. I personally look forward to watching the 2016 World Championship and will be cheering for the Western hopefuls that attend. With any luck, Blade & Soul's esport dream won't stay a dream but become reality. Yeah, what Frost Shiro just said, yo, this article is actually really well thought out. NC West has to make a response post to this. But most likely, but there's still hope. They have a shard of passion in their hearts for BNS. So, what Okay, so problem number one for me is NC West failed to see the signs earlier. Generally, NC West plans conflict with player wishes. You know, servers are up now, by the way. Yeah, so it is so sad. You know, I really like that Everest said that they're coming back and the that kind of thing. But the problem for me is, and that is like the biggest problem for me in this game, is the bad server structure, infrastructure, whatever, that makes people lag in arena. And where, as he said in the thread, which is just amazing, which is just not as responsive, where people in EU just not have that good of a connection to the servers like in Korea. And that's just one of the biggest problems. Like, downright, it's just not fun to play the game going into arena. And I do not want to invest $10 a month to pay for what the fast. That is a problem for me. I'm going to end this video on an arena game. Is What the Fast even good? Yeah, it's amazing. You cannot play this game without What the Fast, which I'm going to do now, which is probably just not a good idea. If you guys have any more comments on this, please tell me. Otherwise, I'm just gonna play one more game of arena to end this video, which is going to be a YouTube video, which I'm going to upload ASAP. Yeah, and then end this. And then I'm going to probably play a game that is just generally more fun, where I know that the devs try to support the community and not their wallets. Although if they manage to get Imperial involved into their PvP scene, they could maybe make some decent changes. That's a very maybe though. That's a very big maybe though. Well, I don't know, man. The main problem for me is the servers, and what's his name? And the server thing is not something that can be fixed by Overwatch is a good point too, yeah. That can be fixed by Imperial Frost Hero. That is a problem. I weep for this game. I have so cool names. I have Osu, I have Lude, Bakemonogatari. Just names I really like, and I'm the only person in EU who can have those names. And I have them, and I want to play this game. But it's so painful. I can't. It's so painful. So yeah, if any one of you has anything to add to this article, which is, by the way, amazing. Thanks for mmos.com. Thank you, Colin NG, for this amazing article. That was great. I'm going to actually link his Twitter. That CNG55 is the dude who made this. Anyways, Blade Master, let's go. Oh, you guys have my keyboard, so you know what's going on. Watch. You know why that would have not happened if I had better ping. Holy shit, what is going on? Come here. I'm still owning though. Aw, damn. But he's just not a good player anyways. But yeah, I'm still owning. But that one dropped web. That was server lag again. Come on, he pressed his S! What happened? Ah, I'm still owning though! Ah, what a good game to end this video on. Thanks everyone for watching. I really hope that NC West gets their shit together. There's so many people passionate about this game. We want to throw money at you. We want to play the game every fucking day. But you make it so hard for us to play this game. Thanks everyone for watching. And we all can just hope that NC West listens to us. Thank you.